Hey carnivores, welcome back to Becoming One. I'm Jimmy V. Were you a carnivore over the holidays and did you cheat? Did you have a few sugars? Did you have a few snacks and carbs? If you were like me, you probably did. It raised the question to me, can somebody really be addicted to sugar? Is sugar addiction real? And if so, how do I overcome it? Well, stay tuned because we're going to answer those questions and more coming up. So Happy New Year, everyone. I hope your new year has started off well, and if not, let's get there. Over New Year's Eve, had a friend come over, played some games, enjoyed ourselves, and they brought a bag full of chocolate cookies with chocolate chips, which is now my nemesis. I had a few chocolate cookies, actually about half a dozen on New Year's Eve. That night, I had difficulty sleeping. I woke up the next day knowing that I was going to have to go to work the following day and really wasn't feeling very well. It's not like I was drinking alcohol or anything. I just didn't feel optimal. So as the day went on during New Year's Day, the cookies were still there. They had left them here at the house, and I went into the kitchen. Every time I went in the kitchen, I wanted to grab a cookie. Now, when I wasn't in the kitchen, I wanted to go get a cookie, and I had this craving to go get something sweet. And it wasn't just a cookie, I just wanted to get my hands on anything that was sweet. So the next day, started feeling a little bit better, and then the day after that started getting close to feeling back to normal. So it made me ask the question, is sugar addiction real? Okay, so before we dive into this, I just want to reiterate, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert. All I am is sharing some things that I found online that oddly enough went hand in hand with my experience. I found a study that was published, and you can find it at nih.gov, and I'll leave a link in the description below. But the conclusion on this study was that the reviewed evidence supports the theory that in some circumstances, intermittent access to sugar can lead to behavior and neurochemical changes that resemble the effects of substance abuse. Intermittent access to sugar. That doesn't mean sugar all the time constantly. It's occasionally sugar, intermittently, which I could see that. We'll scroll up here. Sorry if I'm making you sick. But the name of this study, and it looks like it was published back in 2008, Evidence for Sugar Addiction, Behavioral and Neurochemical Effects of Intermittent Excessive Sugar Intake. That's what I would say that I did on New Year's Eve. I had 6 cookies, about yay big around. They were chocolates with chocolate chips. Oh, and they were delicious. So let's move on. The next thing I took a look and found was that according to Texas Institute of Neurological Disorders, the effect sugar has on dopamine and dopamine receptors make it addictive, and is why it is often so difficult to eliminate sugar from the diet. So yes, it looks like sugar can be addictive, and it looks like sugar addiction is real. Okay, so here I had finished off the next day. I had this craving, even on New Year's Day, to go back and get more. It was a craving like I hadn't experienced since I quit chewing tobacco. For any of you who have ever used tobacco products and tried to quit, you understand what this is. If you haven't, this is such a strong craving, it's tough to get through. But it is something that you can get through if you set your mind to it. For me, it was going into that kitchen and having to tell myself I'm not going for anything sweet or sugary. So if you're like me and you fell off the wagon, or you're just now starting, here are some things that you may experience. Not everybody will experience everything, but some may experience some of these things. I will tell you that after New Year's Eve, I did experience having a loose bowel. I did experience, obviously, the cravings. That was huge over the next couple days. Huge. I wanted more and more sugar. I did feel a little bit achy in my muscles. I did have some headaches. I don't know if I would say I was fatigued. I was definitely tired the next day, but I think that's probably because I didn't go to bed till 3 o'clock in the morning. All that sugar had me up pretty late. So insomnia, yeah, I did not sleep very well for a couple nights. I don't know if that qualifies as insomnia, but definitely this right here, the sugar cravings, that was unimaginable. I never thought that craving to have something that strongly I didn't think that I would experience that again. I mean, I experienced that when I was trying to quit chewing tobacco and smoking tobacco products, but I would never have imagined that happening with sugar. Okay, so the next question is, how do you get past this? How do you get through it? How do you get back on track? Well, I can tell you what I did. I went right back to what I did when I first started my carnivore diet. And there were two things that I did. Number one, I drank lots of water. And number two, I ate lots of meat. Meat makes you satiated. You get full faster. Now, hunger, that was something else that I had to overcome because I just wanted to continue to eat. I wanted to eat. So what did I do? I ate things like jerky. I cooked meat, lots of eggs. Eggs were easy to cook, so that was something that I really increased the uptake on. Not that one is better than the other. But drinking lots of water and eating are a couple of things that I did to overcome this. Now, I will tell you that many experts will say and tell you that it could take 3 days to a week before you get back or get rid of those cravings. And the only way to stop the craving is to stop the sugar. I had to go cold turkey. I had to go cold turkey, and I had to force myself to change my behaviors. When I walked into the kitchen, my wife and kids have a snack box that they snack out of, and I don't eat anything in there. So when I went into the kitchen, I didn't look at the snack box. I went straight to the refrigerator to get my meat and straight to the stove to start cooking and eating. So I had to change the behaviors. I had to commit myself to changing. So those are a few things that I have done and I have found that will help you get through it. Now, other doctors and experts will also tell you that if you are not on a carnivore diet, if you're on a high carb, high sugar diet already, replace those sugars with something. Replace it. I saw one doctor recommend, Dr. Berg, he recommended stevia to replace the sugars. I don't know. I've not used it. I've been on a carnivore diet since October 1st. So those are some things that I did to get past the cravings and get back on track where I knew I needed to be. Finally, where am I at today? It's January 6th. It's been almost 7 days since I first had those chocolate cookies. And I don't have cravings for the sugars anymore. That ended about 3 days, almost 3 days afterwards. I I stopped having that craving for sugar. My eating habits did change. That hunger, that need to eat something was still there. Here I am 6-7 days later, and now my eating habits are finally getting back to where they were before I ate the cookies. My bowel movements are finally back to the same place where they were before I ate the cookies. So here I am about a week later after first indulging with sugars, and I'm finally feeling back to normal. Feel free to leave a comment below if you've experienced something like this. I'd definitely like to read about it. Drop a comment below. Do me a favor, go ahead and like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can see when we have more content uploaded. Until the next time, I'm Jimmy V with Becoming One, signing off.